Good morning. For those of you who are joining me today, if you wouldn't mind putting in the chat your name and the location and position within your business, whether you are an owner, whether you are an esthetician, whether you are a retail team member. I see some people are chatting or typing in the chat. Okay, so we have Tracy Ann, who is an esthetician. Where are you joining from, Tracy? Miranda Miles is Hair and Body Shop, and you are an esthetician. Welcome. Laura Peters, esthetician and massage therapist at Neroli Mequon. Thank you for joining, Laura. Okay, Hair and Body Shop in Franklin, Wisconsin. Great, nice to meet you. There's a little bit more typing. I'm just pausing for a moment. Okay, well, welcome everyone. My name is Collie Winter, and I'm the Director of Spa for Edgeless Beauty Group. Edgeless Beauty Group is the umbrella company for all of Susan Hasey's brands. So we have Ultraceuticals. We are a distributor with Edgeless Beauty Pro for Ultraceuticals in 9 states. 3 of those states I'm a regional educator for. So that would be Wisconsin, Michigan, as well as Illinois. And we also have 5 Neroli Salon Spa locations who carry Ultraceuticals as well as Aveda, and Skin Bar RX, who carries brands like Skin Better and Zeo, but they also carry Ultraceuticals. So I'm here to share with you today a little bit more about the menu, why we created some changes, what are the different tiers, and then I'm going to dive into the performance facial treatments in particular, since that's what today's webinar is about. So first, in this first portion, I'm going to talk about the updated treatment protocols for 2026, why we are updating our menu, treatment menu overview, enhancements, clinical best practice, and resources available, some FAQs, and a little bit of Q&A. From there, I'm going to dive into the actual protocol for the new performance treatments. And then I'm going to dive into a little bit of product knowledge for you, just to tie it all together. So the refreshed treatment menu, we have created a flexible 3-tiered approach treatment menu for you. This is a customizable option for you to lead in with when trying to gain new business or with existing businesses to choose the best options for them. This allows you and your business an opportunity to customize a treatment offering fit for purpose for each business. Each tier builds its complexity. Some accounts may be more junior, other accounts may be a little bit more advanced. Or you may offer more of a traditional type of services like hands-on facial treatments. And that's where we have the performance facials for those accounts. When dealing with more of your dermal therapists or advanced skin clinics, you may choose to offer them in a stacking form. We have this to offer for them as well. Each tier to offer is going to require different skill levels, right? So obviously that first tier, an esthetician in school, straight out of school can perform that. The next tier is going to be about our power peels. And estheticians who are in school or licensed estheticians are diving a little bit deeper into treatments that can create a lot of change in the skin. Then we have our third tier, which is more about stacking. This is typically offered at more of like a medical aesthetics facility. Can it be performed at your aesthetics facility as well, like a spa? Absolutely, you just need to check in with your state requirements. So why is the treatment menu updating? These protocols reflect the products that are all in back bar. So you are going to notice we did make some changes in our back bar. We simplified it. An example, when you are preparing the skin for a professional treatment, whether it's a performance facial, whether it's a power peel, or whether it's a fusion series treatment, cleansing is what prepares the skin for that treatment. And so we don't really want to use cleansers that have a lot of actives in it if we're getting ready to assist with providing actives into the skin. So you want to start with just cleansing the skin really well so that that treatment can go into the skin a little bit better. So we used to have the brightening cleanser within our back bar, but now, and micellar water too, milk cleanser, or yeah, milk cleanser, which here in the States we would say cream, but in Ultraceuticals in Sydney, Australia, they say milk. There is the balancing gel cleanser, the calming cleanser. The balancing gel and the calming cleanser are the two cleansers that we are offering in back bar, because those are the two cleansers that you would do your double cleanse with to prepare the skin for treatment. So it really doesn't make sense to have all of those other cleansers in the treatment room when they aren't in any of our service protocols. So you're going to see some changes with some back bar. So the new treatment menu updates is to reflect our new branding and align with available back bar, to simplify treatment selection, to create consistency across all clinics, to integrate new protocols and latest product innovations, and to align with evolving client needs. Produce results that exceed expectations, and these are the three tiers. So that first tier is that performance facial. This is Ultraceuticals' high touch, relaxation, broad appeal approach. If someone has never tried a cosmeceutical brand before, it is always a good idea to introduce these products into the skin in more of a gentle way. And this would be that first tier with a performance facial. We used to call this treatment our signature treatment. Signature treatment was all about infusing correctives into the skin, as well as that high touch approach with massage. The new performance facial is more performance driven. So it does have exfoliation properties of the gentle exfoliating gel and the PHA peel. So even our foundational peel, which is our PHA peel, is offered in our performance treatment moving forward. There has been some updates and some changes to that peel. So an example, we used to have a 2-day downtime with that peel. And with lots of testing and care, we have determined that there's no downtime needed outside of that first 24-hour time frame. The second tier is power peels. So this is where you're getting a little bit more of that progressive approach for results. This is where correctives are taking place, and this is where high performance is taken to another level. Then we have our third tier, which is that clinical fusion series. This is more advanced multi-pathway premium results. So this is someone who is wanting change in maybe their primary skin concern, which could consist of maybe aging or brown spots like pigmentation, or maybe it's acne. There are different ways that we can go about treating that in more of a series kind of way. So I think sometimes people forget that the skin is an organ. It is actually the largest organ that we have. It is in line with our lungs. It's in line with our heart, our brain, our kidneys, our liver, just to name a few. And we want it to look good, but if it's functioning well, it's going to look good. And these clinical fusion series is there to repair damage that has already taken place, where the power peels are there to treat damage that's already there, but also prevent. And then your performance facials are about maintaining and giving the skin a glow that we all desire. The old menu consisted of signature facial treatments, and now it is called performance facial. Level 1 was our power peels, and level 2 and 3 is now clinical fusion series. So this is the biggest change with the menu of services. This is definitely something that we are going to be implementing at Neroli very soon. Performance facials. Performance facials are advanced, results-driven treatments designed to work at a cellular level to visibly transform the skin. Each facial combines clinically proven actives, advanced delivery techniques, and targeted protocols to address specific skin concerns while maintaining skin barrier, integrity, and long-term skin health. These treatments go beyond relaxation, delivering measurable improvements in texture, tone, clarity, and resilience. They are customizable yet protocol-led. Performance facials empower clinics to offer high-impact treatments that complement in-clinic technologies and enhance home care outcomes. So I love to talk about the percentages of results with home care versus treatments. Home care is actually a lot higher than treatments because, again, you're working with a living organ. So if you're treating it every day as it's doing its natural function and it's doing its cell turnover, it's going to give you results where your skin isn't pushing back from it being too aggressive. So that's how I like to connect our performance facial treatments, is it is setting the skin up for your home care to work better. It's kind of setting the stage, but it's not the main thing that's creating change in the skin. That's why home care along with treatments is where you're going to get optimum results. And starting off with a performance facial is a great way to start if someone has never used a cosmeceutical brand before. Performance facial treatments, they are designed for ultimate relaxation and skin rejuvenation while focusing on key skin concerns. So I'm just going to ask for a little bit of participation by asking you to type into the chat, what are some primary skin concerns that you hear guests tell you about? So an example, sensitivity or acne, just to name a few. I see dry, yes. Hyperpigmentation, dull, yes. More typing happening in the chat here. Lines and wrinkles, yes. Adult acne, loss of firmness and aging, yes, yes, yes. So just to name off some, so it's in a very concise way, we have guests who come to us and they tell me a primary concern of sensitivities in the skin. Now, obviously, this can range from intrinsic factors to extrinsic factors. So it could be an intrinsic factor of being more heredity driven, age. We can't stop aging, but we can work with it, right? We can work with the process and have it be a smoother transition. When we're thinking about that intrinsic factor, maybe parents had more sensitivities in their skin where their skin got red really easily. Maybe they had more broken capillaries. Maybe they even had some skin conditions like eczema, psoriasis, rosacea, or inflammatory acne. All of those are technically within that sensitivity realm. Then we have dry, dull skin, dry, dull, dehydrated skin as a primary concern. We have uneven texture and pores, like congestion in the pores. We also have inflammatory acne. We also have pigmentation, like brown spots, age spots, things like that. These are some of the primary skin concerns that we hear about as estheticians in a treatment room. And if you look over here, you can see there is the Ultra A Renewing Facial Experience. This has retinol, which is going to be more for fine lines and wrinkles. It can also be helpful for acne. It can also be helpful for sensitivities in the skin too, depending on if it's intrinsic or if it's extrinsic. B-squared hydrating facial experience would be really good for the dry, dull skin concerns. Then we have the C+ rejuvenating facial experience. This is going to be really great for someone who is experiencing loss of firmness, or with that loss of firmness, their pores could be expanding a little bit as well. The Lumi Bright brightening facial experience is for hyperpigmentation or pigment or brown spots or age spots. So anytime somebody is experiencing melasma, which is usually more of a hormonally driven pigment, the Lumi Bright brightening facial experience is going to assist with that. Z clearing facial experience. So currently we have a product called Ultra Clear. This is going to be going through a transition. We currently still have Ultra Clear, which is for our inflammatory acneic guests. It is going to be changing its name, and there's going to be some slight formula changes coming up in September. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for that. Excuse me, it is going to be called Z Clear. Then we have Calm and Restore facial experience. This is for our guests who maybe their barrier is a little bit more compromised. Maybe it's that sensitivity that's causing some of those other things to occur. And so we want to treat the core of the problem versus just treating the symptom. And maybe we want to help calm and restore the facial experience. This is where some of our B-squared products may be coming into play. This is also where our RED corrective serum is going to come into the mix. The performance facial steps consist of a double cleanse. We're going to use our calming cleanser, dry. So here's something that I don't think a lot of people know. The calming cleanser is meant to be applied on dry skin. So you don't want to pre-moisten the skin first, and you don't want to add water to the calming cleanser. You just apply the cleanser directly onto the skin, and you do circular manipulation. And then you can do either an aromatic steam towel removal, or you can do either chilled or warm, pre-moistened disposable cotton pads to remove that cleanser. So that would be your first cleanse. Then you're going to go into the second cleanse, which we are utilizing the balancing gel cleanser. This cleanser absolutely needs water, and you want to emulsify it in your gloved hands first so that it's a nice, rich, foaming lather before you then do your circular manipulation to cleanse the skin. Then this is when you're introducing your Sono Booster or your skin spatula. In clean mode, you're going to glide it over the top of that cleanser to remove what's on the surface. So between the cleanser and the sound waves of the Sono Booster, it's really removing stains, dirt, and debris and makeup from the skin. So this is where you're getting a little bit more of that deeper cleanse. But the ingredients of the balancing gel cleanser are still very gentle. There's cucumber, and there is an ingredient called betaine. So it is a very gentle cleanser. Oh, and aloe. There's also aloe vera in that cleanser. So even though it is foaming up, it's not going to strip the skin, but it's going to cleanse it, deeply cleanse it. And when you're adding the sound waves of the Sono Booster, it's jostling loose anything that may be attached or connected to another aspect in the skin. It's kind of like a Sonicare toothbrush. You know, when you're brushing your teeth, the sound waves of that Sonicare toothbrush is knocking loose dirt, debris, and stains from your teeth. So the Sono Booster or a skin spatula is doing the same thing, where it's helping to knock loose dirt and debris. So it definitely is assisting in the cleanse process. But it's important that you have your Sono Booster in clean mode with the bevel down. And this is where you're getting that cleansing action. Then you're going to remove this cleanser with your pre-moistened disposable cotton pads. So the only time you want to use a steam towel is with that first removal. You're removing that balancing gel cleanser with your disposable cotton pads, and now you're going to exfoliate the skin. This is where we're going to introduce the gentle exfoliating gel. The gentle exfoliating gel has round jojoba beads, so it's not going to be scratchy at all, but those round jojoba beads are going to roll over the skin and knock loose any surface dead skin cells. Then it also has lactic acid in it. So the lactic acid is going to help to dissolve dry skin that those jojoba beads aren't sloughing and buffing away. Then we're going to go in and we're going to perform the PHA. So PHA is a gluconolactone, a 20% gluconolactone that is very gentle. Its molecular size is very large, therefore it's not going to penetrate as quickly into the skin. This is why the PHA peel is recommended for guests who have a sensitive skin type, who need additional exfoliation. So it's a very gentle peel. Now, one thing that I like to talk about with the PHA is one of its goals is to increase circulation. So it is common that the skin can get pink. You can see a little bit more of that pinkness in the skin, but this is where you check in with your guest, and the determining factor for if they're having an action or a reaction is how it feels. So if someone is expressing that on that discomfort scale of 1 to 10, they're only feeling like a 1 or 2, that's very normal. If their skin is pink and they're experiencing between a 5 and 7, you need to monitor it. And anything over a 7, you need to remove it. That's how you can determine if their skin is doing its action or they're having a reaction, is all based off of the comfort level of the guest. So an example, my skin, when I do a PHA, my skin gets really red, but I don't feel it at all. So someone could be looking at my skin and be like, oh, she's getting really pink. Oh, I hope everything's going okay. But I don't feel it. Therefore, my skin is having an action with that PHA peel versus it having a reaction. If it was having a reaction, I would feel a stingle. Like I could feel a sting or a tingle or a combination of the two. And if it's over a 5, then they would need to monitor it. And if it's over a 7 in discomfort, then they would want to remove it. So PHA is one of those peels that, because of its molecular size, it's really working more on that stratum corneum. So it's helping to remove dead skin cells on the surface and very gently dissolve some of those corneodesmosomes that are holding those dead skin cells together. And this is how you get a nice, gentle, yet effective exfoliation. Then we go into step 3, which is infusing the proper corrective into the skin. So maybe it's B² serum because they need some hydration. Maybe it's RED because their skin is a little bit more on the sensitive side. Maybe it's going to be Ultra C rejuvenating Chibula serum because they are expressing that they have concerns with loss of firmness in their skin. Or maybe they are expressing concerns with fine lines and wrinkles. Then I would want to infuse the Ultra A booster into the skin. Or maybe their concern is more of congestion, like dull surface with congestion in the pores, which would be more than non-inflammatory acne. Then I would want to infuse the resurfacing pore refiner into the skin. And last but not least, if they were experiencing inflammatory acne, then I would want to infuse the Ultra Clear, soon to be Ultra Z Clear, into the skin. After you have performed your infusion of a corrective with your Sono Booster, so your Sono Booster, I talked about that in clean mode for the cleansing step. Now we're going to use it in infuse mode, where the bevel of that spatula is up and we're infusing that corrective into the skin. The 4th step is where you're going to perform your facial massage. There are a couple of different massage mediums that you can utilize. So you can either use your B² recovery cream as your massage medium, or you can use your replenishing mask as your massage medium. You can perform lymphatic drainage massage. You can perform like a relaxing massage where you're stimulating muscles and relaxing muscle tissue. I mean, there's lots of different ways that you can massage the skin. Then from there is your mask. So this is where you're either going to layer B² serum with your B² recovery cream over the top in a thicker layer. This is a beautiful mask for someone who has more sensitivities in the skin or someone who just needs some hydration, or maybe they need more hydration and you're going to apply the replenishing mask in a thicker layer and it's going to sit on the skin. Then you're going to remove that mask. Oh, don't forget the B² hydration mask. You can add this mask in, but it is suggested that there is an additional charge. So having that mask be an enhancement to a performance treatment versus being included in a performance facial treatment. So your replenishing mask and your B² recovery cream layered with your B² serum are included. But if you want to add the B² hydration mask, that lovely, beautiful sheet mask that we have, you would want that to be an enhancement with an additional charge. Another beautiful enhancement is our brightening accelerator mask, also known as a BAM. This mask has ingredients like octadecanoic acid, it has niacinamide, just to name a couple of the ingredients. And what it's doing is it's focusing on treating pigment in the skin. So if someone is experiencing a performance facial, but they want to make it a little bit more advanced, you can always add on a brightening accelerator mask. Now, again, this would be considered an enhancement, so there would be an additional charge. Then in that next tier, we have our power peels. This is where we have our lactic peel that can be customized with a corrective. We have our clarifying mandelic peel. We have our Lumi Bright brightening peel, and we have our Azyme, or we have our brightening accelerator mask. So if someone is needing a little bit more treatment, like they're needing a little bit more of that cell turnover, but in a specific way that is going to treat either hydration and moisture, going to treat acne, going to treat pigment, going to treat aging in the skin. So you're going to choose one of those peels based off of that. And then, of course, in our fusion series, that is where you would be layering your lactic with an azyme, your clarifying mandelic with an azyme. So they go from being called Lumizyme or a Lumi Bright peel to a Lumizyme peel, as an example. This is showing you the different peels that we have to offer for different skin types that I was just talking about. Sorry, I was a little ahead of my slides there. A note on lactic acid, this is the only peel that can be customizable. The clarifying mandelic, the Lumi Bright, the PHA, and the azyme are already customized to treat specific skin concerns, where the lactic acid peel, you can customize it with a corrective. So an example, if someone has dry skin with fine lines and wrinkles, maybe I'm going to use my 30% lactic acid peel, 3/4 of a teaspoon, and I'm going to customize it with 1/4 a teaspoon of my Ultra A booster. So see how I'm treating the dryness with my lactic acid peel, and then I'm customizing it with my Ultra A booster for fine lines and wrinkles. But this is the only peel that can be customized in that way. There are, of course, steps to the power peels, which I'm going to talk about next time in our next session. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the power peels. And then the last session I'm going to be doing with you will be all about that clinical fusion series. There are resources available. So this is the slide that I was trying to get to. There are new resources available on the Ultra Hub where you can download the protocols, or there is a new learning guide that has all of the product knowledge. So talking about cleansers, talking about correctives, weekly boosters, moisturizers, and our protection products. And then it starts going into what is product knowledge on our back bar professional only products, like an example, the Peel Prep as one of them. And then it goes and talks about ingredients and product knowledge about all of the peels. And then at the end of the book, it starts giving you protocols for a 40-minute version, a 60-minute version, and a 90-minute version of our performance facial treatments. And then it goes into power peels. Again, there's a 20-minute version, 30-minute version, 45-minute version, and a 60-minute version. And then it goes into our fusion series. And then at the end of that book, there is an ingredient section where it's talking about ingredients, like a list of ingredients that are in the different products. So I just feel like that new updated learning guide is phenomenal. I'm going to copy and paste it and put it here in the chat so that you have a copy of that. It is a great learning guide. It also is the most up to date, so it doesn't have any of the products that we have discontinued in it. Like an example, Even Skin Tone has been discontinued for a while. So there is no longer the Mild Serum and the more advanced, right? So that's no longer in there because that product is no longer with us. So just bear with me here. I am going to stop sharing my screen here. Okay, so this is where I can no longer see you. So if you can do me a solid here and just let me know what you can see on your end.
We're seeing your screen, but not a presentation.
Okay.
So we're seeing like the participants, and now we're seeing your main screen, your main board with a blue marbly background. Oh, there you go. We got it.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Technology is, give me people and I'm great. Give me technology and I struggle a little bit. So thank you so much for your patience while I got that up and going for you. So this here is the treatment menu. So this is a handout that talks about all of the options with the new treatment menu. So our performance facials, it talks about the different timing of those performance treatments. What are the different options for that performance facial treatment? Then it goes through and starts giving you examples of how to describe the power peels. What are the concerns? What is the suggested price point for it? All of those lovely details are here. And then we have our clinical fusion series where they are talking about the stacking of, say, clarifying mandelic with an azyme peel as an example. And then it goes through and starts talking a little bit more about boosters, or like at Neroli, we call them enhancements, which is also known as an add-on. So those are just 3 ways to describe an enhancement. So all of that is an example of what Ultraceuticals has compiled for your needs in creating a new menu. So this is just a foundational way. You can take this verbatim as a menu. You can take the information from this menu and create your own for your location. So that is just the new treatment menu layout. Now I'm going to show you. Here is an example of the protocols. So if you're wanting to find just the protocols by themselves, there is the performance facial protocols. And again, this is on the Ultra Hub. And it gives you the protocol for a 40-minute facial experience. There is also a 60-minute facial experience, and there is a 90-minute facial experience. Now remember, the difference between the signature treatment that we have had for a long time now, that has now changed to a performance facial treatment, and it includes exfoliation. Signature facial did not in the past. It didn't include utilizing an exfoliation or a PHA within it. The new performance treatments do. It includes the gentle exfoliating gel along with the PHA. And then you're infusing correctives into the skin and massage. So it is their high touch approach. Then we have this here. This is the Ultra product and treatment guide that I was telling you about that I am going to drop into the chat so that you have a PDF copy of it. But it is also on the Ultra Hub. So this is the most up-to-date learning guide that has all of the product knowledge in it. It has all of those protocols as well. So there's just options. So you can go on to the Ultra Hub and download just the protocols themselves. You can download the menu of services that they're recommending with this new change with a back bar to support it. Or you can download the complete protocol booklet that also talks about product knowledge. I really love this book. As you can see, it really goes over everything from welcoming to the brand and founder, core values, what are cosmeceuticals versus cosmetic versus drugstore versus medical grade. So it really talks about what cosmeceuticals is. Research and development and innovation team, innovation pipeline, in-house clinical trials, So that's what I personally love about Ultraceuticals and them being a cosmeceutical brand. We have our level one, which is drugstore. Drugstore isn't bad. They just aren't concentrated. It's not a concentrated product. It doesn't have clinical testing to show you that it's going to provide results, and it definitely doesn't have any medical papers to support it. Then you have your cosmetic brands like Aveda, Dermalogica, Eminence, or Bioelements, to name a few. These are products that you would typically purchase at a spa. These ingredients are definitely concentrated. They are ingredients of a high quality. There is clinical testing. So there is clinical testing to show that those products can give you results. Then we have cosmeceutical, which is what Ultraceuticals is. That's also what I would say like Skin Better, um, Plated, Zeo, all of those skincare lines that you would typically purchase at a medical aesthetics facility are considered cosmeceutical. They have high concentration. So they only put ingredients in those products that are going to provide results. They are definitely concentrated. There is clinical testing to show you that you're going to get results, but there's the added aspect of there are medical papers to back up those ingredients as well. So that's why a lot of times they're starting to go in the realm of medical grade. And then the last one is medical grade, which is typically a prescription where you get like a prescription written by a physician. So cosmeceuticals are there for a results driven facial product, where you're seeing something happening in your skin where you really want to reverse or change what you're seeing. That's when you want to bring in a cosmeceutical brand. Can you get that with cosmetic? Yeah, you can too. But cosmeceuticals, that is their main purpose. So with Ultraceuticals, their mission is for it to be personal, for it to be proven, and for it to be powerful. But for it to be powerful in a progressive way versus an aggressive way. That's why we talk a lot about how to introduce those correctives into the skin with home care in a progressive fashion versus an aggressive fashion. Because when we are a little bit more aggressive with the skin, initially it pushes back. And sometimes there's more downtime with that because your skin is trying to catch up and it's pushing back at first. But in this booklet, this learning guide, it's really giving you an example on what a cosmeceutical is. So I really love this book. I'm sure you can tell I can't talk about it enough. I really feel that it gives you a lot of amazing information, especially if you are the type of person that likes to do self-study, where you like to learn about it and dive a little bit deeper and dive a little bit deeper. This booklet will absolutely give you that opportunity to do that. So I am going to put it in the chat so that you can have a copy of it and look through it and have fun with it. But the main thing that I wanted to talk about with you today is just making sure that we are talking about this new menu change, with it going from signature to performance. What is the differences within that? In the next call, I'm going to dive deeper into those power peels, which used to be called level 1. And then we have our level 2, 3, which is now called Profusion, which will be the webinar that we do after that. So what I'd like to do now is just open the door for you if you have any questions for me. Are you wanting to know any more about ingredients or product knowledge? Or the protocol itself for the performance facial treatment? Hi, Laurel.
Golly. Hey, I joined a couple minutes late, so you may have already covered this, but I was just wondering what the difference is going to be between the new formulation for the Ultra Clear Treatment Lotion and what the old one was.
Well, they haven't shared that with us yet. That's why there isn't a lot that I can tell you outside of there is a new acne line that is launching in September. So currently we have our Ultra Clear, which consists of mandelic acid, salicylic acid, as well as clove oil, which is why it's so beautiful for taking down inflammatory acne, kind of calming it down and treating the core of it. So honestly, they haven't shared it with me yet. All I know is the name. It is going to be called
Okay.
Z Clear. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you. Well, I'm
You're
looking forward
welcome.
to trying it out and receiving it. Yeah.
Well, the one that is about to launch, like right around the corner, is their new Youth Boost Exosome
Hmm.
serum. So it has exosomes and growth factors in it. And
Okay.
so that is launching in May.
Oh, that's exciting. Was that the
Yeah.
tease that Susan posted on her social media?
It's possible. I didn't see her social media, so it's
Yeah, she
definitely possible.
on Instagram, she put a story, so I'm wondering if that's what that's from.
Oh, it could be. It could be.
Yeah.
Because it's coming in May. We're really excited about it. We're definitely like holding on because we want to talk about it and share it and like get people set up for it. However, Ultraceuticals is wanting to do a formal educational call in
Hmm.
at the end of this month, and
Okay.
then April or May is when it's actually launching. So
Wonderful.
we know about it, but there isn't a whole lot we can share until Ultraceuticals has officially launched it, which is
Sure. Thank you so
May.
much.
You're welcome. Are there any other questions for me about our performance facial treatments? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Tracy. I'm happy that you're back. We are doing our, Q&A at this time. Do you have any questions for me? Anything about the new performance facial peel protocol? Anything about the differences from signature to performance facial? Or are you wanting to know any more about science, like ingredients or what these treatments are doing in the skin? Okay, I see some typing. What is the hub connection that you were going to put in the chat? So Ultra Hub is Ultraceuticals' way of staying connected with all of their service providers. It is where you can download your, like an example, that menu that I was describing, or the protocols, or if you're wanting a little bit more product knowledge, that's also where they list any webinars that they're going to be offering. Now, we are Edgeless Beauty Pro, so we also put out calls like we're doing today to share education, but Ultraceuticals themselves also do webinars, and they post those dates on the hub. And then Brittany is typing in the chat that she can have Denise connect you with the Ultra Hub. So she can give you like passwords and whatnot if you aren't already connected to it. So what I'm going to do now is just add some of those PDFs that I was talking about into a chat here, because I want to make sure that you have them at your fingertips. So let's see here. Okay.
Brittany, would you be able to forward me information for the Ultraceuticals Hub too? I used to have the app and then that kicked me out, and then I'm not really sure how to access the Ultraceuticals Hub anymore.
I did pop the link in the chat.
Oh,
So
okay.
feel free, let me know if, let myself or Collie know if you have any issues
Okay.
getting in or anything. But they did change a few months ago, they did change the web address for it.
Okay, gotcha.
So
That's
that's
fine.
probably why.
Awesome. Thank you.
Now it looks like I am not able to just pop those PDFs in the chat like I, have done so much in the past with these webinars. So what I'm going to do is definitely there is Denise, who is your sales connection with Ultraceuticals for Wisconsin, Michigan, and Illinois. And what we can do is we can make sure that you have access to the hub. And I'll make sure that you have access, Laurel. One of the things that changed is, as you can see in that link, it says Fran Connect, NETFC. That's what changed. So it used to just be ultraceuticalshub.com, and now it has to have that Fran Connect net attached. So that is your way to connecting to the Ultra Hub now. So that was just the biggest thing that I noticed changed, because I couldn't get on myself right around the holidays, and that was the change that occurred. Okay, well, if there isn't any more questions for me, I'm going to close our session for today, but definitely keep your eyes peeled for more classes that we're going to be offering with Edgeless Beauty Pro and this webinar series. So again, we have 2 more sessions over the next couple of months where I'm going to go over the power peels as well as going over the fusion series. So thank you again for joining me. You're welcome, Laura. Thank you so much
Yay,
for
thanks,
joining.
Collie.
Thank you, Laura. Laura. We also
Same.
have Tracy. So thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you at the next